gentlemen, boys and girls, fellow fishing accomplices, good morning and welcome back to fishing. So we're getting the back end of June right now, and there's been a lot of wind lately, but we're going to hopefully get on some fishing action right now. Taking a little bit of a drive, we're going to fish the bay and hopefully get on some fluke or whatever we get off the bottom. Jig and gulp, jig and bucktails, whatever we can make work. So we are going to get out there. Hopefully the wind won't be too bad. It's been a pretty stiff wind this entire weekend, but hopefully today will be the change of that. We'll see what happens. So stay tuned, because you know what we're about to do. Get some fishing accomplished. As I possibly can early, so we got this, I think, 1/2 or 3/4 ounce jig head. It's got to be half, and obviously we're not going to fish this fluke. I mean, you could, but we're just going to fish a traditional grub style, go very simplistic, see if that works. Right now we got pink and white. Hopefully that'll do the trick, and we're not afraid to experiment a bit. But first I like to try deep. That's not a good hookup. And then we'll work our way to the shallows if that's not going. But single jig, no teaser, though that can always change. Let's just test the knot. Good. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what kind of day we're gonna have today. That's a bite. Probably not a fluke, but there we go. It did not take long at all. That's a sea robin. At least we're on some action today. Well, not the start we wanted, but at least we're getting something on the other end of the line. Last time I fluke fish, I would have been even happy to see those. Back down we go. First fish is a sea robin, no surprise there. But where do we go from here? Had a bite in that drift, and obviously we got that sea robin, but this tide is moving pretty quick out, so I'm going to switch to a slightly larger profile to try and hold the bottom a little bit better. 3/4 ounce roe bucktail, pink and white, same gulp on the bottom. Let's see if it makes any difference. The bucktail holds, and more importantly fishes. Do these guys want it? These are the questions. And we're on bottom, 3/4 ounce roe bucktail. Up from a 1/2 ounce jig head. Get down to the depths. See if we can catch a bay monster. Already getting bit. Probably a sea robin. That's a bite. Sea robin. No thank you. No thank you. You go home now. Sea robin. A very bird kind of day so far, but we know there's fluke. Let's try again. Phenomenal sea robin bite to start things off today, but we have to imagine we can break through to get some fluke, but it might require us to move. If we're just getting bird after bird, it's going to be very hard to find these fluke. And I've got a few more other points of interest to check out, but I'd like to get at least one last honest drift of this area before we give up on it. So I've done very well here in the past, and I feel like there's a good probability that there could be a big fluke around here. Sea robin. Not sure, probably sea robin. Not fighting too much like a sea robin, but it is. Bigger sea robin. It's got another sea robin. No shortage today, but Fluke, come on. Sea robin. Even worse than a sea robin. Dogefish. So that vertical jigging bite for Fluke was really tough because the sea robins were so plentiful. Plus we had a bit of a wind versus tide thing that ended up happening. So I ended up moving way inshore and I started marking a bunch of fish cruising around the shallows, or shallower water, I should say. So I decided to throw a Fluke on there, or a zoom style, jerk shad, and just working it both in the mid water column and towards the bottom, and both trying to target, more predatory fish and perhaps some Fluke that were around. And this is what happened. Got him. New mark something. Let's see what we eat. Probably bluefish. Gotta be a bluefish. Try again. That works. That's a Fluke for sure. Not at all what we're looking for, but beats a sea robin. Cast in the jerk shad. Thank you. Just got our first Fluke. Tiny. But we got him on this 5-inch gulp jerk shad. We've got a 3/8 ounce, I want to say, jig head. Maybe 1/4 ounce, I'm not sure. One of those two. I think it's 1/4 actually. But yeah, the tide is pretty much slack right now, and any movement we have is being pushed with the wind. So right now I'm pedaling into the wind and casting more or less up tide. I mean, the tide's basically slack, so it's not really doing much regardless, but it's about 25, 30 feet down, letting it get to the bottom and just working it back to the boat so that way I can cover a bit more ground rather than just sitting around. And the key here is just a really light jerk shad so you get the most, somewhat natural movement out of it. But yeah, I don't know if that was just a fluke. Clearly it was a washcloth size Fluke, so we can do better, but I'm just happy to catch something other than a sea robin at this point. So let's keep it going and hopefully we'll tie up with something a little bigger. Well, it's definitely not a coincidence. This is a sea robin, but at least we're getting some action. Better size sea robin. Straight wind against tide right now. I tried casting for a little, but it's too messy with this wind versus tide. So we're gonna face the wind, pedal in, and try and move with the tide and see if we can get on some action. Move around a bit. It's been slow. Very finicky fluke bite. A lot of small fish too. But it's nice to be on the water. Ton of junk in the water too. That's the biggest problem for casting. Just keep catching it all. Tough bite. Finally. That's a fluke too. Could be a good one. Feels good. Now, if we only get one good fish, it'll be worth it. Feels like it might be foul hooked. It's biting kind of weird, but it's definitely a fluke. Feels nice. Let's go. Let's just get one nice fish. That's all we're looking for. Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll take you. Jeez. All right. That's a keeper for sure. For show. Now I get to show you guys my new bump board. Keep me honest, right? Well, it was a grind, but we got him. Let's string this guy first, because I know this thing is... There's no chance in hell this thing is less than 18.5. Oh, almost lost my new water bottle. That would not be cool. This guy measured. I haven't bled him out yet, but I know he's at least, you know, 20 inches or so. So, new bump board. And as promised, almost 21. So that's a solid little shower mat right there. 20 and 3/4. All right, he's gonna bleed out and we'll get him in the cooler, and yeah, not too shabby. Took long enough, but we got him. Let's see if we can get him a buddy. Whew, what a morning. We're gonna try that drift again now that we got him stringed up and all that other stuff, but meanwhile, you guessed it, it is time to check out our seltzer of the day. It's a new one for you. Lime Ginger Nixie Sparkling Water. I got high hopes for this one. I like both lime and ginger, but what happens when you put them together? I made sure to smell it too. But it doesn't matter because this is absolutely delicious. This might be one of my favorite seltzers that I've tried on the channel so far. Nixie of all things. I never heard of them until I started trying all these seltzers. I think I had one back in the fall last year, 2021, which was all right, but this one definitely is head and shoulders above. So if you haven't heard yet, Lime Ginger Nixie, it's pretty good, pretty good. What else is pretty good, or what would be really good, is if you could hit the like button while you're here. Absolutely no cost to you, or not. And also, if you are on the fence, think about subscribing to the channel. I try and get on the water as much as I can, so, you know, some of it's tactical, some of it might just be, you know, living vicariously through these fishing sessions, but yeah, it would help me out a lot if you hit that sub button, but no sweat if you don't. Anyways, let's try that drift again. Hoping this is us turning a quarter right now. See if we can get another keeper fluke, or any fluke, or anything. I don't even care. It's been really slow. You can make lightning strike twice. I would not be surprised if that's the last both keeper and fish of the day, but let's hope not. Let's go right over that drift again, and I got a couple other spots that might pan out. I don't know. Only one way to find out. Here's something really small. Probably a little sea robin. At least we're getting on some bites again. This guy's practically bait size. Come on. get right back down. We're bouncing around. Got that one fluke. Did several drifts after. Nothing really substantial. A few little bites, sea robins, etc. But nothing that made me want to just go all in for that spot. So we're bouncing, and we're not fishing here all day either. So we're making good use of the time. If it were a little less windy, I'd do a little more exploration, but just too much work, you know. So I got a few spots I like to bounce around in here. Not the most creative day of fishing, but I'm just happy to get in the water because the wind's been blowing all weekend. This might not even look that bad to you, but it's not fun. And this is like a walk in the park compared to what we had this weekend up until now. So I'm just happy to be out here, considering how things have been. Considering I can get in the water today. Wind is definitely making this drift very challenging. Not quite moving the way I want to, and it's wind against tide to make matters even more difficult. So it's really sloppy. Not great getting the best drift trajectories, but where there's a will, there's a way. Tide is pushing in pretty strong right now. But these fish are mighty tricky today. Conditions are not making it easy with the wind and the stained water, wind against tide, and then all the junk in the water too. But no more excuses, just give it our best, have fun. We're just happy to be on the water and hopefully dabble into some nice shower mats. Want a doormat? Settle for a shower mat. You know, aim for the stars. Hey, I didn't even think that'd be a fish. It's definitely a sea robin, but hey, I'll take a fish. Oh yeah. What you got? What you got? Come on, talk to me. Talk to me, buddy. Nah, speechless? I don't blame you. Oh, there he goes. No, no, goodbye. Smell you later. Yeah, the bite was just really tough out deep between all the tide issues and just how many sea robins there were. And as I was winding things down, I decided to move back in shallow. And eventually I decided to just start working the cast because that was the only way I could get a legitimate survey of the bottom without having to just pedal endlessly. So I threw the jerk shad back on, 3/8 ounce jig head, cast it around, and actually that was probably the best consistent action I had that I was looking for. So let's close out that. Yeah, we're on. That worked. I doubt that's a fluke, but at least we're getting something. What do you know? Massive sea robin. Just don't feel like cleaning today. Got him. I think it's a fluke. Oh, what do you know? Inshore fluke action. It's not a terrible fish. Doubt it'll make 18.5, but not terrible fish. Come on, buddy, you're just being greedy now. Just for the heck of it. Not a terrible fish. something took a bite out of him. It's a 16 and a half. Look at that tail though. Another little washcloth. That one came in the jerk shad. It's a really tough position to be in between the wind and the tide right now. Like I'm basically just casting up tide and just twitching it back on the bottom. And I'm moving with the wind towards my lure, so I'm not even getting an ideal presentation, but basically I just want to make sure I'm staying with the tide. I don't want to be, you know, working it against tide. That would be not nearly as productive, I'd imagine. But yeah, let's see if we can pick up another fish or two. Maybe, just maybe, one will be a keeper, but I'm not holding my breath in that. Another fluke. Seems to be the pattern today. Jerk shad in the shallows. Not a keeper though. Just a baby. Don't ruin this, come on.